So as the votes were rolling in for the Wisconsin primary last night, where was Hillary Clinton? Well, she was at a fundraiser because she just can't help herself. So Haaretz reports here, Hillary was spending her evening with top donors in New York City. She raised at least $60,000 Tuesday night at a fundraiser hosted by Jack Bendheim, the owner of a company that manufactures veterinary health products and nutritional supplements. Bendheim, a former vice president of the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, has deep ties to New York's Orthodox Jewish community. Okay, so this is just one example, but it's been happening nonstop recently. We covered a story about how George Clooney had a fundraiser for her, where to be in the front row, it only costs about $353,000 per plate. So, you get to be in her presence. Bill may be there too. You get to be around them. They may even let you touch their garments. Ooh, now pay $353,000 to bribe them, and then when they get in office, obviously if you call, they'll answer, and they'll do your bidding. Okay, it drives me crazy because we all know inside Hillary's campaign right now, they're panicking. They're panicking because Bernie Sanders won 8 of the last 9 states. They even went back and had to change Nevada to a victory for him. So he's winning, and he's crushing, and he's making a genuine charge here. So they're panicking, and inside the campaign, they're like, we don't get it. How do we stop his charge? This, we don't understand. He's winning now, and what do we do? And my response is, you're doing it right now. What you're doing is the cause of this, massive downturn for your campaign and surge in his campaign. Don't get me wrong, he's running a fantastic campaign, and all credit to him and his campaign. But they know this too. They couldn't charge as much if it wasn't for Hillary being Hillary. Because Hillary's so smug and condescending and, oh, please, I got this locked up. The Democratic base is going to vote for me. She feels so entitled to it. So what does she do? The main attack from Bernie Sanders against her has been, you raise too much money from donors. And she's like, no, I don't. Now watch me as I go to raise money from donors. As the votes roll in Wisconsin, you're doing it right now. Again, I always think of the phone call from the desperate boyfriend to the girlfriend that just broke up with him, and he's like, just tell me what I did wrong. You're doing it right now, man. Hang up the fucking phone. What's wrong with you? Hillary, you're doing it right now. $353,000 fundraiser with George Clooney as you pretend like you're for the common man. Nothing could be further from the common man than that. The Wall Street fundraisers out the wazoo. We've covered so many that she's done in the midst of the campaign. She just did one with down-ballot Democratic candidates where she's raising money for the Democratic Party, too. And she goes out and she brags about it as if it's a positive thing. And she's like, well, I don't know if Bernie Sanders is trying to get other Democrats elected. I just did a Wall Street fundraiser to get other Democrats money. But that's the problem. That's why people like him and they don't like you. Because you are trying to raise money from Wall Street, not just for yourself, but for other Democratic candidates, and you're creating another generation of sellout Democrats. And Bernie's like, no, that's the problem. I don't agree with that. I don't want to raise money from Wall Street. So he raises money, as he says, and as everybody in the audience knows at this point, $27 at a time. That's the average donation to his campaign. So he's actually raising money from the accountant and the teacher and the construction worker. I like how I'm just giving a list of the village people. From all just normal jobs, normal people. Because they look at him and they go, that guy's going to look out for me. You want to talk about doing somebody's bidding. How about doing the bidding of the American public? How about that crazy idea? See, that's what we call democracy. Whereas Hillary Clinton, we're the special interests. We're the Wall Street people. There was this big scandal recently about, there was a Greenpeace activist who went up to Hillary Clinton and was like, can you stop taking money from the fossil fuel industry? And Hillary's like, I'm so tired of Bernie Sanders lying about me. We don't do that. Well, lo and behold, you go and you look at the numbers. Of course they do that. Hillary Clinton pushed fracking all around the world as Secretary of State. Why? Many fracking companies gave her money, gave the Clinton campaign money. How stupid do you think we are? She's taking money for her campaign. She's taking money for her super PAC. She's taking money directly into her pocket for speeches. And she's taking money in the Clinton Foundation. Over the course of the Clintons' careers, both of them, they've raised over $3 billion from private interests. $3 billion. You think they're not going to listen to those people? Just in in speeches, so into their own pockets, over $100 million. They don't care about grandmothers in South Dakota. They just don't. They play the political game, and that's why they hate Bernie so much. Because they've mastered this traditional political game of sell out and then get elected. And then they see an insurgent candidate who says, I'm going to skip that part of selling out, and I'm going to go right to the American people. And they think, oh, you violated the rules. How dare you do this? Same thing with Barney Frank, who's been stumping for Hillary lately. He's aghast. He's like, oh, Bernie Sanders. I mean, look at what he's doing. It's so irresponsible to try to change the system. You have to work within the system, and you can be as far left as you want while selling out, but you gotta sell out. To them, it's just a duh. To them, they don't even view it as corruption or bribery because they've been doing it for so long and it's so integrated in the system, it's such a part of the system that they think nothing of it. Hillary genuinely thinks, what do you mean? So, okay, I take money from Goldman Sachs. That's what they offered. What's the big deal? Well, the big deal is they fucking had fraud as a business model, literally, and nobody's going to jail. That's the problem. The problem is they bought the government, and then lo and behold, whenever there's problems, for any big bank, the government rushes in and bails them out. Why do you think the government doesn't rush in to bail out your local dry cleaner, for example, or your local deli if they run into financial trouble? They didn't pay their bribes. That's why. Whereas Wall Street, they paid their bribes, so of course they get a blank fucking check from the government, paid for by the middle class, and these sellout Democrats come to the American people and say, we're looking out for you as we just took your money and gave it to the big banks when they crashed the economy from their own shitty decisions. Why? I don't understand. Why is Bernie Sanders surging? Hillary said as she sat at her, expensive fundraiser in New York City with Wall Street donors. You're doing it right now.